Hello, this is Will from JourneyWallStreet.blogspot.com. I'm here doing the tick replay for CCL, and this trade occurred on June 22nd. So, CCL had earnings, and it was not good. Initially went up, but came back down. So, what's happening here is a 20 speed replay of the 5-minute chart. I will probably speed it up as we go along to get to the trades. But this is definitely a trade that I wish I could take back because it was such an easy trade that I screw up pretty badly. So maybe we can do something like this. Okay, so let's see. Here's a 8 EMA, and let me jump forward just a little bit. And it's starting to use that as resistance now. So, let me slow it down a little bit. So the idea now that I should be thinking is if it shorts a low of an entry bar, or if it makes a topping tail, that's my entry point. So right now this would be my entry point. Or actually no, right now this would be my entry point because it hasn't developed a new bar yet. Or if I can short a tail. So since it did a new bar, then this would be my entry bar now. Right now this seems like the high wick for the tail, so maybe I can get short as close to this top as possible. But let's just see how it closes. Maybe I could get short close to here at the top of this wick, and right now this is my new entry bar. So boom, this one will get me short, and my stop is the top of this wick here. So either I was lucky enough to get some here, but for sure I would have to get some here. And now let's just jump forward a little bit because I know what's going to happen. Boom, boom, down what? From this entry, almost a point. And still no sign of it pulling back at all. But eventually it does have to get close to the EMAs. So right now it's kind of extended. So let's see. I mean, you could use this as a potential trailing cover. So if this closes, you'd be out here. Okay, so let's see if it does stop you out. I mean, we could trail it to this next candle too, because it does have to get close to the EMAs, and you want to be able to cover before then. So once it hits the EMAs, you can short it back on the way down. I mean, maybe it's worth trying to offer near the lows here. Okay, so that we have a new trail, which is the top of this candle. And all right, this will kind of stop you out now. So at this point, you're out of the trade. Or you could be out of some and use the EMAs as a secondary out. But regardless, now that it's caught up to the EMAs, you want to kind of see if there's another entry potential. So right now you're looking at this wick. So maybe you can short 50% retracement of the wick with a stop above there. Or on the other hand, you're waiting for the break of this low. Let me get rid of this line. So let's see what happens first. Maybe you get filled there, I don't know. It's pretty close. Okay, so now your next pullback bar is this entry bars here. And again, maybe you get filled there. I'm not sure, maybe. It just depends how aggressive you are with getting in. Because what we want to see is this next leg down, right? Okay, so all right, so maybe we got filled here. Our stops up here. Excuse me, our stops above this candle, and maybe we could add on the break below that entry bar. It's kind of holding it there, just hovering along that line. Oh shoot! Boom! Look at how fast that happened. So usually when something happens this fast, then you might wanna cover some because it moved a little too fast. So I'm not sure if we're able to. I mean, ideally you want to cover whenever you can, but that's not really that great. So you covered some here. Yeah, definitely cover some there, and just trail the next ones. I mean, you might want to cover if it reaches this low, cover some more. Really big volume push on that move too. Yeah, maybe you cover some back on the way up because this was like a really fast push back up too. But notice, okay, so you would trail it here definitely. So above there is possibly your route. So if you look at it now, we have a higher low now. So there's a potential that this downtrend is broken. So you have to keep that in mind now. And right here, you might be out of your entire position. So the rest of the time, you kind of wait to see what it'll do. Will it continue to hold against these EMAs, and will you have another opportunity to short below one of these lows? But knowing that it just made a higher low, you have to be really careful. So now for sure, once it breaks this kind of a pivot high area, that if you're still short, that's your line in the sand right there, if you're not like covered already. But I mean, we'll see how the EMAs hold. Maybe they do have another trade here somewhere. So now you can move your stop down here if you're still short somewhere. But at this point, I mean, you may be able to get away with one down here with a stop up there. But for your target, it's going to be tougher now because it's been making a new low. So maybe don't take those trades. Oops, that was my other video coming in. But if you step back and look at what has happened thus far, let me delete some of these. We've came from up here to down here. I mean, right here to right here, and that might just be the move. So if you're in this move, great trade. If you're in this move, it's tough. I mean, you're expected to continue lower, but it's moved quite a bit, especially for a stock that the ATR on this is not as high. Well, that's it. Hopefully I can do better when I see a trade like this again, and you see these type of trades all the time. Alright, thanks for watching.